It's films like these that show that a director can make anything scary, including stuff used to make Wallace and Gromit cartoons. Stop Motion is directed by first-time director Robert Morgan and also stars Aisling Franciosi. The film follows Ella, a professional stop-motion animator who's in the process of making her own new stop-motion animated horror film. But things take a turn when the horror film that she's making starts to become reality. One thing that I love about horror films is, with the right director, you can make anything scary. And this is a very unique take for a horror film because all the scary scenes and disturbing images come from things that are used in stop-motion animation, like clay, puppeteers, rigging animatronic stuff. I really do enjoy how everything here is made out of pure stop-motion animation. It doesn't look like anything was CGI in the movie, it looks like they actually hand animated everything that was stop motion. There are long animated sequences that are beautifully done that are entirely stop motion that will leave you clinging in your seats. There are some pretty disturbing images in this film, I'm not gonna lie. Like, if you're the squeamish type, don't see this movie, I'm just gonna tell you that straight up. I'm a horror film fanatic, I love horror films, but there are even parts in this film that leave me like clenching my seat, just like almost wanting to look at my phone to look away from the screen. There was some pretty disturbing stuff here. And the director takes a unique take with this unsettling moments where anytime something unsettling happens in Ella's life in the real world, they'll cut certain sequences or certain frames out of each scene to make it look like it's a live action stop motion sequence, which adds a bit more of an unsettling nature to this film because of how unnatural it looks. And you can tell that Robert Morgan really does love the craft of stop motion because he's worked on other projects before where he's done full stop motion animated films. And you can tell that this was his big passion project that he wanted to get done correctly. And the film continues to get even more unsettling because the longer it takes Ella to make this project of hers, the more unhinged she becomes. This project is just deteriorating her mental health. She's becoming unrational and lashing out at her boyfriend, lashing out at her mom, lashing out at her friends. She's becoming totally unhinged to the point where her mental health is just fully declined. And in fact, she keeps on having these visions and hallucinations, and to the point where it gets so far deep into the movie, you can't even tell if what she's seeing is reality or just made up in her head. So this film is conveying a very important message about how if you focus too much on your work, it can become mentally draining on you, which is a very unique take for a message. I haven't really seen a message like that in a horror film per se in like ever. So props to the director here for saying like, hey, maybe focus on your mental health. Mental health is important, and I can appreciate any film that has an important message like that. And Aisling Franciosi does a really good job as Ella, especially with her facial expressions. Everything that she is thinking is conveyed with her eyes. Just looking at her eyes, you can tell how deteriorated her mental health is, how stressed she is, everything that she's going through in her head. Her facial expressions really is the standout performance here. Her performance is amazing in this film. She's been in some other small projects too, and I hope to see her in more horror films because she did a fantastic job here. But even with the film's technical achievements, I don't think this film is perfect. The biggest flaw for me is the pacing. Unfortunately, I feel like this film would have been better as like a short 30-minute film because the best way I would describe the whole pacing of this is padded. You have like a 10-minute scene in a club that doesn't really go anywhere, random sex scenes that don't go anywhere. You have parts where Ella's just staring at the wall for like a couple minutes, which yes is conveying how much her mental health is deteriorated. But again, like, it felt like those scenes were just dragged on to keep the runtime at a longer theatrical runtime. I feel like the director here wanted to make this a feature-length film, that way he had more time to show off his animation skills with the stop motion, which, yes, is fine. Like I said, the stop motion is beautifully done, but I do think this could have worked better as a short film and not a theatrical release. And though I do have complaints about the film, I can't help but giving this film a positive rating because you can tell the director really did have this as his big passion project. You can tell that he loves cinema, loves stop motion animation, and anytime a director shows their love for the art form on the big screen, I can't help but give a film like that a good solid rating. Which is why I'm going to give Stop Motion the silver top hat. Guys, your first time here and you like what you've seen, be sure to subscribe for more content. And have you seen Stop Motion? What did you think about it? Be sure to let me know in the comments down below. I hope you have a fantastic night, and as always, stay fancy.